Welcome to our continuing Talking Head series in interior design. With us today is Kate, one of our recent graduates, and she's going to share her final portfolio with you. Over to you, Kate.
Hi, so I'm just going to talk a bit about what I got up to in my final year of university and my project. So just to a sort of brief summary. So it was called Turf, and it was just looking into how design could solve economic challenges we face today. So this is just like an overall my section of the project and how I imagined and envisaged this space to work all together. With residential apartments sort of being at the top, a workshop area sort of down on the middle layer, and then down right at the bottom was a cafe and an allotment area where people could sort of come together. So the project was based for 16 to 24-year-olds that were unemployed, living in the Borough of London locals, so Redbridge, where about 35% of them were sort of in that unemployed range. So this project was aimed to support and allow these individuals to become fully independent. It was kind of bringing community home work skills and support in hope that it would bring a decrease in unemployment rates among youngsters and sort of skill share through the generations. Just a bit of branding and sort of how I envisaged this. So extra products that they could sort of sell down in the cafe to bring in extra income that would then get fed back through into the allotment, sort of through seeds and equipment and stuff that they may need. User profile. So this is just looking into who would actually be using this. So this was Jamie. He was sort of enrolled on the programme, and he was unemployed with no formal qualification, but he dropped out of education age 12 due to sort of being in a bit of a disrupted home, and wanted to join the project because he enjoys cooking. He plays Xbox and socialising with friends, so that was him. And then so this was Polly and Norma. So this is Polly. She was about 75. So it was all about sort of bringing this gap between sort of younger and the older generations, and how this project could actually support people who were not just for sort of one generation, but bringing sort of two generations together and sharing skills through, whether it be through cooking, whether it be through gardening, but getting everyone in the wider community involved. So as I said, sort of mentioned before, it's all about nutrition, growing sort of the home, nature, workshops, and sort of how the light could play. So this is my site, quite a challenging site, but it just sort of made sense because it was opposite a really nice park where you could sort of get the custom in from the cafe downstairs, so there's a lot of sort of footfall. And it was also had been used for a college previously, so it had the educational sort of setting for it. A bit of site analysis. I won't go too much into this. Original site plans and elevations. So this is my demolition diagram. So I guess my main sort of strategy was to get rid of this passageway here, and sort of bring that into one, so it made it sort of a more functional space downstairs, which then sort of meant that I could work and change this car park into a green space area because there was lots of good transport links around, and then bringing a central atrium into the space, which brought light into the upper levels of the building and created sort of more of a visual interest for people inside. There's the transport links. This is just sort of my what if question. So what if an interior allowed young adults and nature to grow in harmony? So this is where I really wanted to explore the materiality and sort of how materials could kind of grow with the people in the space, and sort of how sort of emphasizing that sort of really natural element. So I was looking into the basic needs of humans and plants and how that could then sort of move into my concept. So again, taking sort of a colour palette from nature with natural earthy tones, and how that could also sort of be a key movement. yeah, so taking that inspiration from the horizon layers of the soil and introducing some more sort of brighter sort of hues to give it more interest. Yeah, understanding the user needs, obviously it's important in a project, so it was all about sort of independence, identity, intimacy, community, career, emotional stability, and sort of budgeting for those people, which is what they needed in order to be successful. Yeah, this is just a bit about the journey of the customers from a private and from a user sort of aspect. I'll leave you to read that sort of in your own time if you want to pause. Yeah, and then the private user, so the person who was enrolled on the program. As mentioned before, third and second floor are apartments, first floor is workshops, and then the ground floor is like the cafe and allotment area. This is my master mood board, sort of now moving into sort of a more sort of materiality, from a materiality point of view, looking into mycelium. It was all about sort of using sustainable materials, as that's where my sort of interest lied, and sort of it made more sense for what I was doing with the project, that everything was sustainable as possible. This is my ground floor plan, yeah, so the cafe area on the bottom here, and then sort of gives you a good look at sort of how that allotment area and how the spaces sort of, there's no difference between like the inside and the outside, bringing sort of making it a cohesive space with the atrium in the middle here. This is sort of my cafe mood board, just yeah, like as an overall. And then this is my like visualization for how I imagined that space to sort of look. And then this is moving into the first floor, so like the kitchen and the training area here. This is like where a till point was for training people up on the tills. Again, an area up here sort of for looking into with a bar at the back, so teaching people how to serve and sort of lay tables and everything in the correct manner, so that when they go on into another hospitality job, they'd be already trained. That was the kitchen sort of mood board, and then the kitchen visuals. And then, yeah, this is moving up on into the residential areas now. And then this was sort of how I envisioned the apartments to look. And again, this is just a different sort of section as to how that all came together. My technical section, so you probably don't need to worry about this just too yet, but don't panic, you'll get there. So yeah, this is sort of looking at how things were actually going to be constructed and how things actually went together, and sort of bringing it to life in a more technical, from a more technical point of view, I guess, really, and how those materials sort of would have been in situ. Yeah, so that's my portfolio.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Kate. That was great. Really good introduction to interior kind of decoration. I just have two really quick questions for you. My first question is, what did you enjoy most about studying at Falmouth University on the interior design course?
Okay, so I think my absolute favourite part of studying at Falmouth was actually the people, and being able to, obviously in the pandemic it was a bit of a struggle, but everyone really came together, especially in like the final year. It brought everyone really close. So yeah, I think just being able to get into that studio and know that you can sort of bounce ideas off of each other, because I don't think you realise until it's taken away how valuable it is to have other people's input, and just, yeah, just to be able to sort of bounce off of each other. So yeah, I'd say just cherish those moments, because yeah, it's sort of one of my sort of fondest memories of being around Falmouth, really.
Brilliant. It's nice to know you really valued studio culture and being in a community of like-minded people all pushing kind of creativity, which is great. So now that you've come to the end of your degree and you're about to launch yourself into a fantastic new job based in Southampton, working on super yacht interiors, you've kind of come a long way in those 3 years that you studied, Kate. And what advice would you give to anybody who's thinking about a career in interior design and joining the course?
I think for me, one of like the pivotal sort of turning points is when I'd never done anything to do with IT when I first joined the course. So learning CAD software, learning any kind of software was quite daunting. But I think getting myself enrolled on the Photoshop accreditations, the InDesign accreditations, I think they were about £45. You get them at a reduced rate. I think they're really important, and if you can do them because you learn so much. It's worth investing that little bit of time just to get a bit of ahead of the game. I learned things in there that yeah, you have the accreditation to put on your CV, but I learned so much, which just made me more efficient. And I think once you're efficient with the technology, you'll get quicker at being able to produce things, so you can then sort of get in a better workflow, I guess. Yeah. That would be sort of my one sort of top tip, I think, coming away from it. Yeah, I'm so glad I did them, and that was, yeah, like a real changing point for me, just to get a better understanding.
Do you think having those kind of digital skills helps you to get, you know, your amazing job?
Yeah, definitely. And I think just chucking yourself out there and just coming across as really sort of, if you're passionate about it, I think it naturally sort of, it will come across in your interviews. But yeah, definitely having the computer skills, and also just changing with softwares as well. Like if you fancy giving something a go, just give it a go, because those sort of few hours, if you can dibble in and out of different bits and pieces, it makes you more employable for sure. So yeah, just take everything in and learn as much as possible.
Absolutely, good advice. Thank you so much, Kate.
No problem. Thank you.